A small clay bulla found in the 1800s at the City of David in Jerusalem contains an inscription that is one of the most important artifacts ever discovered. Some scholars debate whether it's real or a forgery, but its connection to the Bible is undeniable. This little bulla was made by pressing a seal into wet clay, and we have no idea how many exist or how many have been lost to history. In this video, we'll talk about one of the greatest kings of Judah, his legacy, and the artifact that was found in modern-day Israel that may have been mentioned in the Bible. If you like learning about the historical evidence for the Bible, please hit that subscribe button. Now, let's begin. Hezekiah was the son of King Ahaz and the grandson of King David. During his reign, Judah had peace with their neighbors, which enabled him to focus on building up his kingdom. He repaired the city walls, dug aqueducts to bring fresh water into the city, and built tunnels to divert water away from the city during flash floods. He was a good king who walked in the ways of his father David, but he also did something his father didn't do, and that was trust in God alone. There were times when the Assyrians invaded Judah, but Hezekiah prayed and received help. Once he sent a message to the Assyrian king Sennacherib, boasting about how the God of Jerusalem had killed 185,000 soldiers in the camp of the Assyrians. In response to this, Sennacherib sent his chief officer, Tartan, to destroy Jerusalem. But as Tartan and his army approached the city, an angel of God killed every soldier in the camp. When Hezekiah heard that the invaders were coming, he hid valuables in the house of the Lord and put Jotham, the son of Shemaiah, over the affairs of the city. Then he sealed an official document putting him in charge. This bulla was likely one of these documents. Unfortunately, the seal was broken, so it cannot tell us what was written on it. But there are two seals that were found nearby that help us understand how an official document would have looked. These two seals both contain the same name, which is probably the name of the king's secretary. The first one says, "Belonging to Eliakim, servant of the king." And the second seal says, "Belonging to Eliakim, may Hezekiah live forever." There is no doubt that the third seal, the one found on the bulla, belonged to Eliakim as well. This brings us to a few questions. What does the word servant mean? Why is Eliakim called a servant here and not a secretary? And how can we be sure this bulla actually belonged to King Hezekiah? Let's discuss each of these questions one by one. The word servant in the Old Testament doesn't always carry the connotation of someone doing menial tasks. Sometimes it's used for people in positions of power, such as servants of the king or servants of the Lord. The seal saying servant of the king could be referring to a secretary. If that's true, then the other two seals might be referring to the same person. How can we know for sure? Well, the answer lies in the museum where the artifact was found. The inscription on the object found at the City of David reads, "Lahamilahi ilamkini," which translates to Eliakim, may Hezekiah live. We don't have any way of knowing what was written on the document itself, but the fact that the seal was impressed into the clay alongside other official seals shows that it played an important role. This tells us that Eliakim was an official in the king's court, and that he had authority to act on behalf of the king. What kind of things might someone with that kind of authority do? Well, that leads us to the second question. What does servant of the king mean? It means different things in different places. In some cases, a servant of the king would be like a secretary. In other cases, a servant of the king would be a general, a leader of the military. So how can we tell which one it is in this case? One way we can get closer to understanding this is by looking at similar artifacts. In 2001, a bulla was found that contained the name of Gedaliah, the son of Pasha the scribe. It seems like he was in charge of collecting tithes from the people. This helps us understand that Hezekiah's secretary could be collecting taxes, or maybe even leading a military campaign. But we still don't have any solid proof that this bulla belonged to the king of Judah. How can we know for sure? For starters, it was found in a place that was inhabited during the time of Hezekiah. Also, this bulla was found along with other artifacts from the same time period. It has the same type of stamp that other artifacts from the same time have, but we can be more certain because of something that happened 400 years later. When Nehemiah was governor of Judah, he went to Jerusalem to rebuild the city walls. He appointed a man named Hananiah, the son of Hezekiah, to be his aide. It seems like this Hananiah was a relative of King Hezekiah. If that's true, then Hezekiah had sons that lived to be adults, but we have no record of any of them becoming king. So where were they during the reign of Manasseh, who was known for being wicked? That's when someone by the name of Eliakim became king. So it seems likely that Eliakim was the same person as Hananiah, the son of Hezekiah. And since he was listed as the son of Hezekiah after he was already king, this means that Eliakim was probably the secretary of King Hezekiah before he became king. Let's recap everything we've learned. Eliakim served as the secretary to King Hezekiah, and Hezekiah was the king of Judah around 735 BC, during the 8th century BC. Clay bulla like this were used all over the ancient Near East as a way of sealing letters and documents. They were a common practice in business and government. This bulla was created by pressing a seal into wet clay, and we have no idea how many exist or how many have been lost to history. It seems very likely that Hezekiah had more than one secretary, and there is a chance that more bulla belonging to him will be found someday. Maybe you're rewatching this video in the future, and there have been new discoveries since this video was made. Who knows? But for now, we have this bulla that was found in Jerusalem, and although we can't be absolutely certain that it belonged to King Hezekiah, we have a lot of evidence that makes it very likely. And if it doesn't belong to Hezekiah, it's very likely that it belongs to one of the kings that followed him. We also know that whoever it belonged to was an important official in the king's court. If we look at the location where it was found, we know that it was found in the city of David. The exact spot isn't known because the museum won't say where it was found, but it was found during excavations in the area. The city of David was the original city built by King David on the southern slope of the Temple Mount. It was inhabited during the time of Hezekiah, and it is possible that he sealed this bulla there while he was making repairs to the city walls. But why would he hide valuables there if it was under construction? Well, it's possible that he was hiding the valuables temporarily until the repair work was finished. Or he could have been expecting the city to fall and wanted to hide the valuables somewhere safe. Whatever the reason, he wrote an official document and stamped it with his seal. We don't know what the document said, but it was important enough to be sealed with the king's seal. So what do you think was written on the document? Do you think it was written during a time of war or peace? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. But there's one more thing we need to talk about. Is this really an artifact from the Bible? Yes, the prophet Isaiah tells us that Hezekiah trusted in God alone. And when Hezekiah was faced with a choice between trusting in God or trusting in the Assyrians, he chose God. Hezekiah gave God all the credit for delivering him from the Assyrians, and he sang a song praising God. While there are many skeptics out there who claim that the Bible is full of errors, this archaeological find gives us confidence that the Bible is true. And if you want to learn more about the historical evidence for the Bible, there's a playlist of videos available. Now here's my question for you. Have you ever found something old while you were exploring? Maybe you found a coin or an old diary or something else. If so, let me know in the comments section below. And as a thank you for watching, I'm going to leave 2 videos right here. You can watch them right now by clicking on them. To keep these videos coming, please hit the subscribe button. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching.